and good afternoon, I believe it is. We are welcome into the next round of uh, LCT or the Hylidae tournament, I believe it is. Today I will be your commentator, 7:09 a.m. I'm joined by the one, the only Josh. Hello, Josh.
Hey, it's Joshua, everybody. I'll be your co host for today. And if I'm not your favorite commentator, I might as well should be.
Dang, what about me? I am clearly also quite one of the favorite commentators in my very personal, highly biased opinion.
Mmm. Yeah, as I said, if I'm not your favorite commentator, I might as well should be. I stand by my
That's right.
point. Now let's get into these bands.
Absolutely. It looks like we're going straight into it, going in with the Renee survivors, going up against the Reverie Hunter. Um, it does look like the Reverie Hunter will start off with the traditional Seer Priestess band. Super excited. Very good first bands that we like to see pretty often against most teams. So we'll see how the Renee survivors reply to this.
Yeah, it does look like we are going with the Seer and Priestess band. Priestess and Seer are both really great God tier supports right now. They're also in the top 5 listed band supports in competitive play across all servers. So, yeah, I understand those bands. Looks like we're going with a patient and a cheerleader. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like we're going for survivors that are good at keeping distance from the hunter.
Absolutely. It does look like we're going for the first officer ban, a survivor that is really tough to hit whenever he's in his watch. It really takes a lot of predicting and a lot of figuring out where the potential of him going around could be. It does look like the survivors will be countering this with a Gravekeeper. It looks like they are going for a survivability play. The Antiquarian does get banned, not wanting to deal with her. A very strong ban. The survivors will counter this with a Psychologist, having a good healer for the rest of the team in case any situation happens. She's really good at helping out survivors take less of a hit whenever they take an unnecessary hit, or overall just really good at being a forgiving character for that damage that gets dished out per round.
Yeah, it's looking like a very solid team comp. We got a patient, a psychologist, a cheerleader, and a gravekeeper. There is a slight decoding debuff, but I don't think it's going to be too bad where it should affect the survivors here. It looks like they're really just going for survivability here. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a wax artist on the open map or maybe a night watch. Somebody that can really close the distance on this openness of this map right here. But I really wouldn't be surprised if we saw a really good chase hunter right here.
Absolutely. We do see some very interesting builds. It looks like the patient is very much very aware of what their build is. Very thinking ahead of time. So we will be seeing the survivors locking in their builds now. It does look like we will be having a pair of E-daters and then a underage child. Oh wait, no, she's not underage. She's 19. Whoops. Sorry, guys. I forget that not everyone and their moms is children and willing to be drop kicked. Um. Anyways, we do have a Gravekeeper. All of this will be countered with a BQ, a very solid TIE Hunter. Super excited to see how this BQ is going to play.
Yeah, I'm very curious, but if we do look at the team comp, this is not in BQ's favor at all. Cheerleader, psychologist, gravekeeper, and patient are not all the best first chases for a BQ. The best chase would probably be patient, but it really depends on where the BQ spawns. Those hooks and everything are going to be able to get him enough transition to dodge a lot of those mirrors. But it looks like we'll be seeing Psychologist be the first kite, and it looks like Psychologist is probably going to hang on to Hotel as long as she can.
Absolutely. It looks like the survivors are already planning out where they are going in terms of their routing. We will be having the patient and psychologist right next to each other. I do hope we get to see some very interesting plays. We do see that the cheerleader is all the way at the top. All of these survivors are just really tough for BQ, as mentioned previously. Cheerleader can really make that distance when BQ mirrors, making it really basically rendering the mirror practically useless. Gravekeeper can dig underground and really take that extra hit. And psychologist is, well, a psychologist. She plays mind games on you and then just ends up taking an extra hit, which makes it really, really difficult for a BQ to really get that down right away without having to use 3 mirrors instead of the usual 2. But we will be seeing how the BQ decides to play against this. Super excited to see.
Yeah, even if the team comp's not favoring a BQ, if the Hunter is smart enough, they can still pull out a tie. At most, I do think that's what the Hunter is trying to go for here, is to have a guaranteed tie the first match, which isn't a too bad strategy. But the survivors in this team comp are not friendly to the Hunter at all. She will be starting near Hotel, so I'm really worried about how this Hunter is going to win this game, because right now it looks like the survivors have a big advantage on this Hunter.
Absolutely. We will be getting into the matchup, going in with Bloody Queen's S tier skin, looking fabulous, looking great. We will be seeing the Gravekeeper starting off with the kite. BQ going in, getting rid of that pallet right off the bat, not wanting to deal with it in the later game. We will be seeing the Gravekeeper transitioning into middle, not wanting to deal with the BQ, dropping as many pallets as possible, not really wanting to deal with her mirror, which is really dangerous. It does look like the BQ will be mirroring away towards the psychologist taking a different route than the BQ. It looks like the BQ will be trying to take the high ground and look for her, but the psychologist is one step ahead, hiding behind the building. Very, very interesting play.
Yeah, as you can see, the BQ's already wasting so much time. The BQ's wasted one mirror. She chased Gravekeeper, couldn't find the psychologist. Going back to Hotel, she really wants to get the psychologist down if she can. But these mirrors are kind of being wasted to close the distance. So I'm not really smart on the Hunter's perspective, in my opinion. But she's already wasted so much time on these survivors right now to where I feel like this is going to be a real strong game for the survivors here.
It does look like we will be seeing the first hit here. The survivors are doing an absolutely amazing job rotating the hunter, really making that BQ have to struggle to find them. A beautiful job from the survivors. It does look like there will be a mirror play here. Ooh, psychologist playing around it. It does look like she will be taking a hit here from the mirror. Blink is up, which means that it won't be long until we see a blink down. Psychologist doing her best to transition away, not wanting to stall out that blink for as much as possible. She does have broken windows, so it's going to be really difficult for her to find a way to get that blink out.
We do have the first down, and we do still have Blink. I really wish the psychologist would have forced Blink here to get everything out on the first kite, but BQ was really smart about holding on to that Blink for rebound kite, making sure to get that insta down. But as you can see, the Cyphers have a good amount of progress, so BQ is kind of in a tough spot right here.
Absolutely. So we will be seeing the Gravekeeper going in already, getting a bunch of distance on the BQ, making it really difficult for her to catch up. It does look like this will be a pretty safe rescue for the most part. We will be seeing a really good rescue from the Gravekeeper, both of them splitting up, not wanting to deal with the BQ. However, the BQ looks to be one step ahead of them. Beautiful hit from the BQ, getting that double down on the survivors. This will be slowing down decoding by a number. It looks like the psychologist is already going off into getting a better distance from the BQ. She will be doing her best to kind of loop around, really trying to stall out that blink.
Yeah, I'm afraid we might be seeing the blink here. There goes down psychologist. The rebound kite was cut short. Now we are in a double down situation. Decoding progress is slow. We're down to 2 ciphers. One of them is almost at 50%. We're not in a bad situation, but we're not in the best situation. I kind of wish psychologist would have forced the hotel more and forced BQ to stay there. But again, I do think she probably left because of the basement.
Absolutely. Having to deal with the basement or with any hunter really is really, really dangerous. It's likely the reason why the psychologist chose not to stay in that area, as it's really dangerous to have to go rescue in a situation like that. The survivors are doing really well, but it does look like they will be missing a cipher. Now we do have the E-daters going on together. It will be quite the situation for the BQ being single and not having a man's to help her out. But it does look like the psychologist does go down. BQ takes out her anger on the woman with the mans and will be taking out her anger on the mans as well. She does end up missing the mirror because the patient does use his flywheel. However, psychologist will be getting eliminated from the game. She will be seeing the manner. Now, we'll see how the survivors choose to play around this situation.
Yeah, it is looking like ultimately it is looking like a tie, and I do think that's what the Hunter was playing for to make sure that they got a tie in the first match, which is not a bad play, making sure they get those points early in the game and ahead of their opponent. But right now, it's looking like these survivors are going to be trying to reset to buy as much time as they can. They're only down to one cipher. All they have to do is reset and buy as much time so they can prime. This BQ doesn't really have an idea of where they're at right now. These survivors are doing a great job at rotating her, but I do think she catches on to where the Gravekeeper is at, and she's going to close the distance on him.
Absolutely. It does look like the survivors are in a little bit of a situation. There is a 3 cipher lock, which means that these 3 ciphers are right next to each other, making it really easy for the hunter to be able to harass them. 2 survivors seem to be still running around trying to figure out the cipher response. It looks like the BQ still will be pressuring them, but the survivors are going in for the long game. They're patient and they're ready to play the long game with this BQ, not letting her get that hit anytime soon.
Yeah, right now it is really just a game of patience. I am worried though they did not heal the patient here with the time that they had, and that is an insta down. I do think the survivors should have took the time to heal the patient, buying more time in the long game. This game right now is all about patience. It's all about who is going to wait the longest on whether priming ciphers or getting those downs quickly. This BQ unfortunately was able to make sure that all the ciphers were in the same area and made sure to get down on that patient.
Absolutely. It does look like there is a little bit of havoc going on with the survivors. Oh, beautiful job from the cheerleader, avoiding as many hits from the BQ as possible, stalling out the time. It does look like the Gravekeeper will be going in for that rescue. However, the ciphers do not seem to be progressing because everyone is trying to avoid getting that free hit into the BQ. We will be seeing her going in for the cipher that is being decoded, though. Cheerleader pre-running that, not wanting to get hit by the BQ. Definitely a good choice. Dragging her away from the 3 ciphers, not wanting to give that BQ the chance to get a head down on them. We will be seeing the cheerleader going straight into the restaurant. Oh, beautiful job from the cheerleader using the obstacles to avoid the BQ's mirror. This will make it a lot harder. Oh, beautiful from the BQ. Catches a small glimpse of the cheerleader in the corner of her eye, managing to go in for that hit. Beautiful job from the BQ. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, that was a really good mirror on the BQ's part. Really good on forcing Cheerleader to use her speed boost and pom poms to get away from her and being really patient with that mirror. But as I've said, this BQ is really just wanting to put pressure on the last cipher. These survivors are kind of in a pickle here. This BQ is amazing on her cipher pressure right now. They had a tie situation, but now it could be anybody's game with this BQ pressuring like this. They are not able to decode, and as much as they want to, this BQ is just not letting them.
Absolutely. It does look like the patient will be going down here. So now the survivors are really far away from the ciphers. It does look to be like quite the situation. Gravekeeper already having a few pom-poms, though they will be disappearing by now. He is biding his time, though. BQ does catch a glimpse of the cheerleader. Beautiful job. Ends up hitting the patient, though, which will allow the cheerleader to get a nice amount of distance. However, the BQ is not willing to let up, really pressuring these ciphers. It does look like the survivors are struggling to get a some distance on the BQ while she is harassing these ciphers. It looks really unfortunate for the survivors. The cheerleader is next to the basement. Oh, beautiful job from the cheerleader, juking that with the flywheel. Good prediction. She will be trying to get away from the basement, but she can only do so much with the BQ's mirror already on her eyes. It looks like the cheerleader will likely be on, I believe, the second chair.
Yeah, honestly, this BQ really turned this game around with being as patient as they are with their mirror usage and just making sure these ciphers are just not getting decoded. I don't think the 3 gen lock was intentional, so it's really surprising that these survivors did not take note of that sooner. This patient might get hit here. He does get hit. This is not a great situation. Gravekeeper does get the rescue on Cheerleader, but I really am wondering how they are going to play this. I'm thinking they might reset and try to force that final cipher. It's at 63%, and they got another at 52%. But now Patient is dead, so this is looking more like a one-man situation. They took too long with pressuring Cyphers, and this BQ now has the full advantage.
Absolutely. It does look like the BQ will be pressuring them, but the survivors are one step ahead of her, hiding in the second story. However, they will be finding it a little bit difficult to hide away from the BQ as her mirrors are pinpoint position. It does look like the Gravekeeper will be getting found. He only has very little on his current shovel. He will be trying to avoid using it. He doesn't exactly want to dig his grave just yet, so he will be trying to buy as much time as possible. Um, gets the good use of the shovel. However, the BQ does end up avoiding it. Beautiful drop from the Gravekeeper. Constantly juking the BQ. However,
They
it did
need.
end up going up against him.
Yeah, but they do need to keep in mind with pressuring this last Cypher and the Gravekeeper going down, this is a really tough situation to be in. The BQ is going to go ahead and chair the Gravekeeper. Cheerleader, go ahead and pop. But it looks like at this point they are just going to have to play for the one man. The game of patience has run out, and BQ had won.
Absolutely. It does look like the survivors did end up getting too impatient, potentially even a little too patient with not having to decode right away. BQ does end up going back to that chair as she does end up teleporting really prematurely. Patient, good job on the patience, or not the patient, the cheerleader, my apologies. Clearly, I have suffered from dementia. But it does look like the cheerleader is really playing this long game well. She's hiding in a corner trying to look for the dungeon. But it does look like the BQ is closing in soon. She is not willing to give up just yet. She is aiming for that 4K.
Yeah, this was looking like a strong tie situation. The survivors had so much early game progress to where the BQ was behind, but they took too long, and the three cipher lock on this map in late game just ended up killing them in the end. These survivors had a real hard time decoding those ciphers with the three cipher lock. So unfortunately, that's just how the cookie crumbled, and this BQ took full advantage of the survivors' mistake here.
Absolutely. This is exactly why three cipher locks are very, very, very detrimental to survivors because a good hunter like this that knows how to pressure the ciphers well can really be very dangerous towards the survivors. Oh, it does look like the cheerleader will be getting the one man though. That is I believe 3 points for Reverie and 1 point for Renee. A 2 point difference. Very, very well done from both sides. Definitely great from a great play from both sides, really. Especially considering that Renee did manage to get that 5 point difference. To not they didn't want to get that difference really. A 5 point difference is huge compared to a 2 point. So I think overall that was really, really good play from both sides. That cheerleader did amazing in getting that end game patience really.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but the survivors had the full advantage early game. That BQ was taking so long to choose a target and so long to find somebody. Unfortunately, I think if the rotations were a bit better on ciphers and they made sure not to three cipher log, they could have been in a much better position there.
Absolutely, I do agree. The one thing you don't want to deal with is a three cipher lock, simply because it is just so easy for hunters to pressure, especially strong hunters like Cleric, Breaking Wheel, those who can really either stall the ciphers or really can make and collect a lot of distance in a short amount of time. It really allows these ciphers to get harassed altogether, especially since the survivors were really behind on the healer, considering their psychologist was taken out really early.
Yeah, their psychologist did a good kite, but not forcing that blink out on first kite ultimately ended up the psychologist had a really short rebound kite. Also, that double down was very, very detrimental. A lot of hunters are really greedy with those double downs, and with a hunter like BQ who still has a mirror and blink, she was able to get that double down early game, slowing the decoding process to a halt.
Absolutely, it was that double down was very, very really one of the main turning points of the game. It's really impressive how that BQ managed to turn a pretty grim situation into a win. Almost a 4K even. That was absolutely amazing play from the BQ, really.
Yeah, that BQ was very, very, very top notch. Definitely showed that even if a hunter has a weak early game, if the survivors do not play mid to late game correctly or top tier, the hunter can still come out on top. And that's just unfortunately what we saw here with the cipher lock and the rotations from the survivors.
Absolutely. Both sides really showed to have known their stuff, and the survivors really showing how strong rotations are early game, but the BQ showing exactly why the end game tends to really turn things around with those ciphers. Depending on where those ciphers are left, really pushes on to where how the situation will ultimately unfold in the end.
All right, now we're going into our next match. We have a new pair of survivors with a new hunter. I would tell you about the hunter, but this boy got everything hidden, so y'all are going to be as surprised as I am.
Absolutely. It does look like the Renee survivors are very stingy with their information. It does not look like they are willing to share information just so readily. But the Reverie survivors are likely more than ready to face this and prepared to see exactly what the Hunter has in store for them. I'm super excited to see how both teams choose to play this matchup.
Yeah, I'm curious too. Although I am so sick of seeing Chinatown. You dang survivors, I don't know why y'all doing this to yourselves. Chinatown is a horrible map. I hate this map. I swear to God, it is horrible. There's nowhere to kite, there's nowhere to run, there's nothing to do. You just literally run for your life until you get hit. That's all you can do. I hate this map. I hate it so much.
This is not racially motivated. Before anyone says anything, please do not sue us. Chinatown is one of the more difficult maps for survivors, though. Simply because they're in, just as Josh mentioned, there is very little pallets to work with. Most of them are really unsafe pallets in really small loops, which makes it super optimal for hunters like Nightwatch, who really just slow you down and require a lot of high walls to counter. But Chinatown doesn't really have much of those aside from the second story, where there's the God Palette, and then once that God Palette is done, that area becomes a lot weaker. Simply because there is no obstacle to really help the survivors.
Like I said, this map is horrible. All you have to do is run from your responsibilities like my dad did.
Oh, that one hit as close to home. I'm pretty sure everyone can relate to that one. Especially considering we are all filthy IDV addicts. Very unfortunate, quite. Um, I do send my condolences. We will be starting off with a priestess barmaid ban. We will not be respecting that tier for the first two. Let's see how the Reverie survivors choose to respond to this. I am curious as to what hunter would. There are many hunters actually that don't respect this tier, but I'm very curious as to which one specifically the hunter chooses to pick. We will be seeing a toy merchant getting hovered over. This is a very good pick in Chinatown, simply because there are a lot of areas that are two floors, specifically that one intersection bridge and the other one in the hotel. Toy Merchant could be a very, very strong pick.
Yeah, Toy Merchant's not too bad on this map. I have a feeling they might take the Toy Merchant and Toy Merchant up to Hotel. It should be a really strong first kite, especially with those catapults to get the distance. So I'm not surprised about that Toy Merchant pick. I'm actually glad. Give me some flipping variety, people.
It does look like we will be seeing an Embalmer. This team is definitely trying to go in um, for that tie. They're really trying to secure this first win on this round. Um, but we will be seeing a first officer ban. Just as we saw with the last game, there was another first officer ban, making it a lot easier to get a double hit. As with first officer, it's significantly harder over the fact that simply he's just really difficult to pinpoint when he has his item active. The survivors will be countering this with the psychologist play. Um, they will be having her as the third pick, which means Embalmer and Toy Merchant will be getting fed into the permaban.
And they are going to go and take out the patient. They said, screw y'all e-daters. I'm not doing this today with y'all's cringy ass bullshit. Anyways, now we also have a mercenary pick. Only thing I'm worried about is the rock hiding on a few of them from Psychologists and Embalmer. But so far, it's a pretty good team comp. Embalmer with the coffin is great for tie situations. Psychologist and mercenary go together like bread and butter. And all you psychologist mains out there, I love you. Thank God you play her. She is a great, pretty character. If you don't main psychologist, well, you're just a loser.
Well, I'm glad I'm not a loser. I'm very much happy that I'm one of the superior beings in this community. Um, we will be seeing them start to lock in their builds. It does look like the survivors are still figuring out what they want to do with the builds. Super excited to see what they plan for us in this matchup. We already saw a great play from the Hunter side. I'm very, very happy. Both happy and very excited to see what we'll be seeing in the upcoming match.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what we'll see here. I'm hoping to see some variety, some life or death, some palette stuns. I want to see a game of tug and war. I kind of want to see survivors bully these damn hunters for once. These hunters are too damn good. I need these survivors to bully them. Give me some palette stuns. Make that hunter lick the floor clean from you palette stunning them. I need some variety. I need some mojo. I'm just hoping these survivors come out strong. Kind of want to just see the survivors bully the hunter for once.
I do see some slandering on the side of my hunters, but I do hope on the opposite side that the hunters do wipe the floor with the survivors. I am very much quite the violent person and enjoy me a cup of violence every now and then. I would love to see a five cipher slug game. Absolutely exciting. We will be seeing an opera singer in this map. In this matchup, spawning to the left, really making the survivors have to really plan out their routes. This area really pushes some of them over to each other, making it really difficult to figure out who is going where, especially because this opera singer is not wanting to be predictive with where they want to go. This will be really difficult for the survivors, but it does look like they are planning out where to go already. They will be having the embalmer in the lantern gate, though, which I do find quite curious. They will probably plan on having him do some kind of mind games, potentially even hide around that area. We will be seeing how the survivors decide to play this game. I'm super excited to see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Only thing I'm really concerned about is this opera spawn gives her really great choosings of embalmer or psychologist to go here. Embalmer is a raw kiter, only 2 hits. He does not have that coffin, but his kiting is relatively not the strongest. Same with psychologist, except she's 3 hits. That opera definitely probably did not want to chase that toy merchant first, losing a lot of distance and a lot of time. So I'm really curious to see what we'll do here. Also, the hunter has a great name. Who the heck wouldn't want to be killed by some girl named Roaches?
So we will be seeing a potential violent hate crime against the opera singer up against these survivors. We will be seeing who murders who. We will be getting the open casket ready for whoever it is that will be going down in this match. However, if it is the hunter who suffers a multitude of pallet stunts, we might want to get a closed casket. I might have to put that in my tab for later. That's going to be really unfortunate. We start off with the opera singer going straight for that center person, getting a nice look at that mercenary. Right off the bat, going straight for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, with as strong as Opera is, they'll chase the mercenary. They do not give a crap. They will chase anything and everything. If it breathes, if it lives, if it walks, they will chase it. As you can see, even Mercenary with 3 elbow pads is not enough to go against this skinny little waist, little opera singer having girl. You get the point.
Absolutely, it does look like opera singer is very much ready for some hate crimes. We will be seeing a pause. It does look like we are having some technical difficulties. The opera singer's pizzazz was just too much. Her prowess of skill is just overwhelming, and it turns out the ping is just unable to catch up.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is a problem due to Lolly's not paying the McDonald's Wi-Fi bill. Lolly's has terrible Wi-Fi. McDonald's has better Wi-Fi, surprisingly. Lolly's just can't compete with the bills, apparently. Lolly's is lying. Excuse Lolly's. Do not listen to him at this current moment.
Who let him out of his cage? I'm gonna have to have a talk with one of the admins. It does look like our streamer has escaped the cage. Do pardon us. We may have to have some precautions to prevent that next time. Hopefully, locking him in the second basement will prevent that from happening in the future. This does seem to be the second time, or maybe potentially even third time. I do apologize to my ladies and gentlemen out there.
Lollies is just a very terrifying person, y'all. I'm so sorry you guys had to experience that. He's a very terrifying British man. He's in my nightmares. I apologize on the behalf of this community tournament that you guys had to hear Lollies. We will be getting him back into the basement after the ads.
Absolutely. I do apologize. We will not be responsible for any therapeutic services that will be needed after suffering such a British onslaught. I do apologize, but unfortunately, we are not responsible for such causes. However, we will be having a intersection advertisement. So, Josh, do tell us, how has your day been?
My day's been good. I've been working long and hard. I've been working at assisted living, working with the elderly. We got that whole coronavirus going on. Not a good look. But my life's been great. Just been living life, eating hot dogs. I love me some big, juicy hot dogs.
All right, so it does look like we will be restarting. I do apologize for that. It does look like Lollies has just not paid their bill. Again, really unfortunate. Hopefully, we will be taking measures to prevent this in the future, potentially, but I cannot make any promises. There is a reason why he is locked permanently in the basement for the next upcoming months.
Yeah,
I never said you were in my basement. I said you were in the basement of the admins, simply because we cannot trust you with the very sensitive information of learning how to speak English.
what do you mean? You're in my basement.
So it does look like we will be having to give lollies their schizophrenia medication and potentially some of their delusional fixes, because it does seem like they believe they are in the right to speak back to me. Quite unfortunate, quite audacious, and we will be seeing backlash from this in the near future.
Lollies is in my basement, to put it out there. I collect people like Pokemon, so when I saw a British man, I was like, I gotta collect them all. Kind of just shove them in there.
Who
Mm-hmm.
let him speak? Somebody lock him back in there. Where's Alfred? Butler, Alfred. We need the British man out of here.
Lolly,
He's
sweetie, I'm gonna need you to crawl back into that basement, okay? The grown-ups are trying to talk.
this is a meeting for the adults. Please return to your basement, my child. Um, I do apologize for anyone who had to see that. And what makes you think that? Sit
You ain't
down.
older than her. 7's 39, y'all. She is a smoking
Everybody,
grandma.
excuse me. I am 139. Please get it right. I will be. I am an
Mm.
elder. I am everyone's
Uh,
superior. And the lollies, you will be going back into your basement. I will not be refuted. My word is law. Everybody knows this. Back to your. And did I stutter?
I don't know. I was kind of just calling you Lollies. I mispronounced your name, but now it's kind of just like sticking. So I'm just like, hey, Lollies.
It
You
does
know,
look like we will be having our little streamer having a pet name now. That is quite weird, considering they're about as tiny as a little lollipop.
if you guys support this nickname, put hashtag Lollies in the chat.
Hashtag lollies in the basement. We would like to see some support. I desperately need it. My mental health is definitely tanking, constantly having to feed this filth of a streamer. I do apologize for everyone for having to see this unsightly vermin escape their basement. I will be putting a double lock on it and potentially calling our landlord to put an
Only
extra
support
post.
I need is a McDonald's Big Mac for my big back. That's-
So I do agree we will be putting Josh on the entrance of the basement to kind of hold the door there. I don't really think Lolly's stick arms will be able to do really much against Josh's big back, very healthy, very big, and very voluptuous.
You know what I just thought? Imagine a British person like trying to rob you, being like, "Yo, dude, give me your money."
No, no, no. You have it wrong. If I remember correctly from the British lessons that I was taught long ago to avoid situations like getting robbed by a fellow Brit, it goes something around on the lines of empty the compartments of your pantaloons. If I remember correctly, that is around the time where you want to start running like the devil is behind you, like taxes are about to come knocking on the door, like the tax collectors are right next door.
But yeah, if you support the new nickname, let's get a hashtag lollies in chat. Honestly, we should get that printed on a t-shirt.
Potentially, it would be great for the new Hylidae logo. I think having a little British man caught in a cage would be very much appropriate. I do believe we never asked for the pet's opinion.
This is unfair. This is unfair.
Um,
That's not how I talk.
Oh God, I'm so sorry to everyone. It does look like the British is spreading. Please put on your masks and prepare for the apocalypse. It does look like the British virus will be taking over. It will not be long till I too am infected. Everyone, please run. Hug your loved ones. Cry at a pregnant woman. Tell her your concerns. Tell your concerns to a man who has been nailed to a cross. I'm pretty sure that will go absolutely dandy.
Mm-mm. Also, Lollies deserves to get bullied. Lollies is a menace. He's a big, big menace. He's just a very scary British man, guys. Do not let Lollies see you. Hide when you see him. He's a very scary, scary British man. Scary indeed.
Absolutely. We are doing everyone quite the favor. Actually, we are getting paid to keep him in our basement. Unfortunately, that basement is practically radioactive by this point. We are very much unable to do anything about it. The radioactivity of the British is just far too strong, very difficult to deal with. You cannot walk in there and then walk out a free, non-British person. It is quite tragic, quite the situation, and my condolences to anyone who has lost family members in such a confined foundation of the SEP. We will be seeing to the. Unfortunately, we cannot execute him. We do need him alive. He does provide us with semi-quality streams at low graphics, so we will be doing our best to at least keep him contained. My apologies. Performance.
Execution! Girl, this ain't the Hunger Games!
Y'all telling me y'all don't got a guillotine in y'all's backyard?
Girl, we are not Mary Antoinette.
Listen, I'm in the wrong time, wrong era. I am 139 years old, so I do apologize for my indifference to the time period.
Alright, it does look like we are going to start the game over. We are running the same exact picks with the same exact hunter. But can we also talk about how skinny Opera is? Because, like, girl, I want to be built like that. I want to be a skinny queen.
Absolutely, we have Opera going in. She looks absolutely gorgeous as always, beautiful. The definition of my beauty standards that I am absolutely never going to reach. Just like my dreams, I am stuck here commentating. Somebody, please get me out.
Alright, it just looked like Opera is going the first pick that she did in the original game. I'm curious to see if they'll go for the mercenary again. Hopefully this mercenary can hurry up and, skedoodle out of there before this skinny queen comes his way.
Absolutely. She is skinny. She is a queen, and she is ready to commit any hate crime on anyone that does not meet the beauty standards of today's unethical dieting. We will be seeing that how this will play out. Will the skinny queen of ultimate diets walk in victorious with her salad at hand, or will the survivor say no and break the beauty standards, effectively removing hourglass shapes from the meta?
And as you see, we're watching Opera Singer Looks like she is taking a similar route. Mercenary has already skedaddled. She is looking around. It does look like she is going to go for Toy Merchant here in the hotel. Just curious to see how this toy merchant will survive. I'm hoping this toy merchant can bully the opera singer because I'm tired of these hunters being so dominant. I need some bullying. I need some pallet stuns. I need some finesse.
Absolutely. We do see the toy merchant already going into the second story. Very interesting. We will be seeing her. Ooh, it does look like the hunter does kind of catch a little bit of a glimpse of the toy merchant, but the toy merchant is one step ahead, already getting into the right areas. Gets the hit, beautifully done from the opera singer. It does look like the toy merchant does end up getting stuck. We will be seeing the toy merchant go down here. Flywheels. Unfortunately, oh, the opera singer does end up getting stuck though. Her hitbox is quite difficult. Skinny queens do not have the rights of lateral hitboxes.
Okay, now what the hell was that? Okay, that was a let's have a lesson here, kids. That was if I don't know what I'm doing, the hunter doesn't know what I'm doing. That toy merchant should have got hit. Fucking fat ass Agria blocking the pallet. What the hell?
And for a skinny queen, she is quite good at blocking pallets, just like I am so good at blocking my taxes. I do not want to hear any messages from the tax collectors, and I will effectively be blocking them, just like Opera Singer blocked the toy merchant. Does look like the mercenary will be going in for that rescue. Opera Singer trying to get in. Does end up farming the toy merchant. Really unfortunate for the survivors, but it does look like the mercenary will be getting out scot-free. Or not. The opera singer is very much ready to go after him, but he is one step ahead of her, going straight in for that elbow pad.
Yeah, I'm sorry, toy merchant. You just dead as hell, girl. You getting beat up in a corner like I did as a kid. Like, girl, you just dead as hell. Deader than my dead grandma.
Oh, we will be seeing some family slander. We love to see it. Absolutely. It does look, however, that Toy Merchant will be rising from the dead once again, post-mortem. And this time I will not be making the same mistake and getting clipped for saying postpartum. I would rather get waterboarded.
Shoot, I want to get clipped. Somebody post me one of them sexy TikTok edits to Melanie Martinez.
We will be seeing the opera singer trying to find the toy merchant, but the toy merchant has already gone off. Really difficult situation for the opera singer. The toy merchant has already left. This is looking pretty difficult for the hunter. It looks like they will be looking around for the survivors. Oh, it does end up getting the heal from the psychologist. Barely misses the hit. Oh, but does end up getting the hit on the toy merchant. Beautifully done from the opera singer. Unfortunately, does end up missing that hit. Almost gets a free hit on the embalmer, though.
Yeah, it looks like this opera singer is not wanting to lose her first chase. This toy merchant is in a pickle here at a really bad pallet. She might get smacked here. Oh, she don't get smacked. She survives. She lives. Oh, never mind. She dead. Dead as hell.
It does look like the opera singer will be taking her down, not wanting to deal with her. Blinks her out of existence. Just like I am going to blink out of existence my taxes. I'm going to close my eyes, pretend they don't exist. And then I'm going to commit even more tax evasion. Please do not inform the government. I will be not surviving until next week, if that seems to be the case. It does look like the opera singer will be going straight for the embalmer, though, already having an eye on him. We will be seeing how this embalmer responds to this, no longer having his coffin.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what the embalmer is going to do here. He gets hit here, unfortunately, but life of a rock hider, what else can you do besides use windows and pallets, you know? Anybody that plays rock hide, y'all know what I'm talking about. This opera singer is just so fast. She might hit him through this pallet, too. Oh, she don't. Oh, they don't get the pill. Oh, dang. Big bitch slap.
It does look like the opera singer will not be taking that disrespect from the embalmer, trying to pallet stun her twice. Unfortunately, she will be skinny queening her way out of that pallet stun and taking the embalmer down. This is looking like a potential tie game for the survivors. This is really good. The REV survivors might just pull the rug under the Renee survivors. Oh, it does look like the opera singer will be jumping back to catch up to the embalmer. Unfortunately, this cipher is almost primed. However, the embalmer does end up having suicide, which is going to be a very difficult situation for these survivors. They're not going to be able to do too much. It does look like the opera singer is going to try to harass the cipher, though.
Yeah, she knows it's time. She knows what's to come. They're about to pop that cipher right in her face. Oh, he is embalming because they are going to pop the cipher. She does now have detention. Embalmer is away, so he's not going to be able to get chased. She's looking on who to chase right here. She's looking. She might turn around. Oh, she wants the embalmer. She wants that embalmer super bad. Embalmer is probably only going to be able to kite for time here, but I do think this is a really good tie situation.
Absolutely, I do agree. Does look like the survivors did manage to pull quite the punchback against the Renee Hunter and survivors. Oh, beautiful support from the toy merchant. Very well done. But it does look like the opera singer is not willing to give up just yet, going straight for that mercenary.
Yeah, that mercenary is running away. I'm not sure how many elbow pads he has left, if he has any. But I think this is still looking like a great tie situation, even with the wasted teleport. The survivor should be able to decode the gate and get out of here. Unfortunately, he does get hit on the butt right here and goes down due to detention. But I'm wondering if these survivors will be able to decode the gate by the time she comes.
Absolutely, it is looking like a very close call for the survivors. Unfortunately, the Embalmer will not be able to make that gate. It does look like Renee might just be able to pull back this game. Unfortunately, it does look like the opera singer is having quite a difficult time with these dashes. The Embalmer will be taking advantage of this, getting that speed boost through and moving on to the next area.
Ooh, oh, no, dang. That embalmer almost had a god tier play with that flywheel, and they got smacked again.
Absolutely. However, it does look like the Reverie survivors might just pull off this tie. If that mercenary does end up making it to the gate, it will be looking like a win for this round for the Reverie survivors.
Yep, it's looking like a tie. The mercenary knows where the dungeon is. Yeah, this is looking like a great tie situation. I'm one. Oh, he's just dancing on the dungeon. Okay.
Absolutely getting groovy with that. So absolutely amazing from both the Hunter and Survivor sides of both teams. Beautifully done. It does look like round one will be going to the Reverie survivors. Beautifully done.
Yeah, that was a great tie situation. Honestly, the offer was good. I also love that name. The name is Serving Cunt. I would love to be killed by someone named Roaches. Put me in my place. But yeah, the survivors and the hunter played that game really, really well. I was honestly surprised that the survivors forced a tie out of that situation. Honestly, though, I don't know. No matter what the opera did, I think that was just a tie automatically, no matter who she chased in that situation.
Absolutely. It was really difficult considering the Toy Merchant was the one getting chased, and Toy Merchant is extremely strong in a map like this. She can cover a bunch of distance, making it really difficult for even Hunter like Opera Singer to catch up. This is very,
Yeah,
very
I do think we saw a little bit of survivors not really understanding Opera's palette stun box. I think there's like 3 times I caught where the survivors were trying to go for a palette stun, but she wasn't exactly in the palette.
Absolutely. It does look like that opera avoids pallet stuns like I avoid my taxes. Like I avoid paying anything at the market. Please do not tell my local shopping mall.
Like my dad avoids loving me and giving me affection, leaving me when I was 4.
Oh, you are so me. I'm so glad we can bond over something. It does look like we will be experiencing some fatherless behavior in this stream. Very tasty and very demure.
I love fatherless behavior. That's why I be shaking my butt on the corner on Fridays after 8 p.m.
Oh my goodness. It does look like we will be having some personal insight on Josh's life. Very interesting. Very, very, quite mindful. Very demure. It does look
I
like I.
always said if I become broke, I'm becoming a stripper, y'all. I'm becoming a stripper.
It does look like my game has decided to combust simultaneously. I'm very demure. I'm very mindful. Very cutesy.
Girl, if you don't pay that internet bill and quit hiding from your damn taxes, I swear to God.
I refuse. Nobody can make me pay my taxes. I refuse. I will become a billionaire, even if it means I have to commit tax evasion, tax fraud, and a bunch of other very high level felonies, potentially.
Girl, you can get called from the IRS. Be like, ding ding, is this Miss 709, the 39-year-old grandma? We're taking you into custody.
Excuse me, it is 139. Get it correct. My years in this earth are exponential to a maximum extent. You have no clue.
And
Um,
that's why you built like a shriveled raisin.
I think that's a mirror, honey.
I think that was a read. I clocked you.
I will not be taking that disrespect. You will be seeing me behind your nearby alleyway. You will not need to worry about medical supplies. You will not need them after I am done with you, simply because you will not be alive to see the next day. And please look
All
in your walls. I
right.
am in your walls.
Random joke of the day. This one is
Oh
for
no.
Seven and the audience.
Oh no. Get me
What's the
out of here.
difference? What's the difference between a prostitute and a drug dealer?
Um, should I be afraid to answer that?
Yes.
Oh
The
no.
the prostitute can wash her crack and sell it again.
Oh my god!
Sorry, guys, but with Joshua commentating, we bump up the ratings to PG-13.
Oh god, it does look like me. So it does look like the rodent from the basement has escaped again and get back in your basement before I start throwing raid at you.
He's just a small British man. Don't hurt him. He's
No,
sensitive.
don't worry about it.
Raid is a type of an American bug spray that we use on roaches, wasps, ants, and any sort of insects.
I'm going to drown you with it. I have no need to use the appropriate circumstances simply because you will inhale it all the same and probably suffer from a respiratory disease at that point. Either you die or I die. There is no in between. There has to be survival
Ooh.
of the fittest, and it looks like these teams know that very well.
What is up with Chinatown? I'm so sick of Chinatown. I don't know why y'all play on this map. Good Lord Almighty.
Chinatown is not supposed to be here. Oh
Oh,
my
look at Josh
goodness.
being smart, guys. I have a brain.
It does look like our rodent does not know the basics of clicking buttons. I do apologize to the audience ahead of time. It does look like we will be suffering some technical difficulties. We will be seeing a weeping clown on the scene. Beautiful, super excited, very demure. We will be seeing him beat the hunter up with a rocket. I'm very excited to see it. Who needs an antiquarian when you have a first officer? Or first officer, I am clearly losing my mind now. The British has infected me. I do apologize to everyone. You will be seeing me in my downfall, in my villain arc even.
Oh my god, is that Helen Keller?
I am going to lose my mind. I cannot see, I cannot think. I have become Helen Keller incarnate.
Oh, never mind, guys. These are troll bands. This is I'm pretty sure this is a troll pick. Technical difficulties on the map
We
selection. It wasn't
will
supposed to
be
be
seeing
Chinatown
a
again.
thief. A thief in the making. Number one in the whole server is Zesty Fart, our prize thief of NAEU. Super excited to see them throw this flashlight onto the hunter, give them a concussion, and then take the win.
Well, there's not much to say about this match because it is a troll match. But yeah, I didn't get to see what map it was supposed to be. Lollies, what map was it supposed to be?
Of course.
Oh, so
I'm
another
very
open map into another open map. I got it.
Yes, quite. We will be seeing a Bloody Queen play against Helen Keller. It does look like the Bloody Queen is at a severe disadvantage with the mind's eye being able to see the entire map. Obviously, the strongest character in the game. Super excited to see how this BQ will counter such survivors. We will be seeing a Tetris shape. Super excited. Super demure.
On a real note, can we talk about the thief's name? What incarnation is a zesty fart?
Okay, so there is a quite the backstory behind this super interesting origin story. I have asked the thief myself personally, what is the origin story of your name? So let me take you back long, long ago, maybe about 6 months ago. A very long time. Many of you don't even remember. Many of you were probably not even born. So these two great warriors were at war in the education system. They were fighting. They were at war. They were spilling blood. And at one point, one of them landed the final blow with the whispered words, "You're built like a zesty fart." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the origin of our greatest hero.
Alrighty then, we're gonna be taking that story with a grain of salt. That was certainly something. No comment. I don't even know what to think. I don't know if I can think. That was a very interesting origin story.
Clearly, it does look like my co-commentator has been absolutely baffled by my storytelling. However, we will be seeing a 4-man escape, 5 Cypher Kite from the Mind's Eye. Beautifully done. It looks like the Hunter did end up terror shocking everyone else, and the Mind's Eye had to carry them on her back all by herself. Her cane in hand, beating the Hunter up, just like an antiquarian wished he could.
On a real note, I just want to see survivors land in these pallet stuns. I want to see this hunter put through hell. I want to see this hunter beat up like I was as a child.
Ooh, trauma bonding, my favorite recipe. It does look like we will finally be going in ever sleeping. What a breath of fresh air. It looks like our basement dweller will be staying in the basement, thankfully. Likely why things seem to be going a lot smoother now. Hopefully it does look like the Renee survivors are already getting into play. Same thing with the referee hunter. Beautiful, demure, absolutely vicious, and very, very enticing.
Well, all right, let's get into the seriousness of this match. It is going to be on Ever Sleeping. I'm really curious to see what we'll see here. As you guys know, if you survivors can hear me, quit choosing these damn open maps. I'm so tired of it. Where the hell you in Kite? Because you get hit every time you're trying to transition.
I do agree. Um, that against a BQ, really, on a real note, maps with pretty high walls can definitely be quite difficult for her to deal with, simply because she can bump into a lot of things, and on top of that, survivors can really fake out her mirror. However, it does look like the survivors are already plotting out what they want to do for countering the hunter. Oh no, it does look like the tax collectors are at my door. I will be having to run for my life.
Okay, while that hoe is running because she don't pay her taxes like a dumb little girl, we can be getting to these picks, y'all. We got a mercenary, psychologist, dancer, and magician. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of expecting an Ivy because I'm not for sure if it's gonna be an Ivy, but every time I see magician, I think of Ivy. But it could also be a BQ because this hunter is a really notorious BQ. But yeah, I'm really honestly just curious to see what we'll see here. I got no clue what we're going into.
Absolutely. I'm also super excited to see what we're going to get into. I do agree. Once I saw the magician, I was thinking, ooh, what a great counter Ivy pick. But it does look like this hunter does not main Ivy in their roster unless they have already pulled her into their pick. But it looks like they will be going BQ again. The survivors are prepared this time. We're definitely ready to counter the BQ. Ready to try again. We're ready to be skinny queens and teach the BQ how it's done.
I'm gonna be honest. As much as I love these survivors, this BQ is kind of on my look list. Like BQ, I love her as a character, so seeing somebody play her in like journeys and whatnot is actually kind of refreshing. But I do kind of want to see some life or death, like tight hiding, some pilot stuns. I wish somebody would like emote. At least like once.
And so it does look like my co-commentator is trying to get our team disqualified. We will not be seeing any emoting, any non-demure plays, any non-skinny queens. Um, But we will be seeing non-skinny plays. We love non-skinny plays. We eat non-skinny plays like it is a plate of dinner in a parched child's face. Very, very delicious. Very demure. I need to
On
find
a
new
re-
vocabulary words.
You do. Your whole dialect is off of TikTok. But anyways, that's another issue for her therapist. Let's get into the game. On a real note, I do wonder where they're gonna go and how they're gonna get Chase here. Mercenary is right by the BQ. BQ might go for Psychologist, but on this map, it takes a really smart BQ to land some of those perfect mirrors, especially when it comes to those two-story buildings. Transitioning is key here against BQ on this map. But I'm really curious to see how the BQ is going to mirror and handle this map against a lot of these characters.
Absolutely. Super excited to see. This map can definitely be really 50-50 with BQ because of all the high places. But really, she can use that mirror to really get around pretty easily. It does look like we will be seeing the Psychologist already transitioning into the graveyard. Already taking a big head start. It looks like we will be seeing the BQ using the mirror to transition. Unfortunately, he does end up losing sight on the Psychologist for a few seconds, but already catching up really quickly. Almost getting that mirror hit on her, but it does look like the BQ will be having to go the long way around. These survivors are quite skilled in the transitions.
Yeah, the only thing I'm really curious about, I know Hilda is a great BQ player, but those mirrors to get distance on survivors are really questionable. Because now Mir is on a 15-second cooldown, and Mir is her one key ability you don't want to have on cooldown constantly.
Absolutely, we are seeing that the BQ is trying to harass that female dancer, but female dancer is already one step ahead of her. Already getting out that mirror. It does look like the Psychologist will be taking a speed boost here, though she really wants to be careful. There is a blink ready. Beautiful done from the Psychologist. Predicting that blink does not let that BQ get that terror shot.
Yeah, that was a really great predict. My ass would have just vaulted. But that was a great predict from Psychologist. But if we think about it, that is 3 mirrors, which each mirror being on a 15-second cooldown. This is a really long first kite here from Psychologist. But like we said, this BQ can turn around at mid to late game. So even though a bad early game results in Cypher progress, this Psychologist has already gotten Blink Out and 3 mirrors. So the Psychologist is doing a great job right now.
Absolutely, it does look like she will be making a decent amount of distance. Unfortunately, the BQ will be taking her down around this area, but the Psychologist not really willing to let go just yet. Does end up stalling out the BQ's mirror for a decent amount of time. It does allow for that last 2 ciphers to really get popped, putting the survivors in a great situation once more.
Now, see, this is what I'm talking about when I tell you only hot people main psychologists. I don't know who this psychologist is, but they're doing great. A fantastic first kite, 3-hit character that only has raw kiting, and they kind of ate up their first kite. This cipher progress, 2 ciphers down right now. They get a great rescue. The mirror is a little bit off, so I think psychologists will be able to dodge. Oh no, never mind. This BQ literally hit her, so rip. I just ate my words. So good luck with that, Psychologist.
It does look like the Psychologist does end up getting hit right away off the chair, but will not be allowing that BQ to get that presence hit. Already the Magician ready for that rescue, already putting themselves in position. 2 ciphers getting decoded freely. We will be seeing how they play. Oh, but the BQ. Beautifully done from the BQ. Already expecting the Magician, but the Magician is one step ahead of her. Beautiful wand. He will be taking an early hit, unfortunately. Oh, it does look like the Magician is not ready to let up just yet. Beautifully done. Manages to wait out the BQ mirror. Very well done. Managing to buy himself a crap ton of time with the rescue.
It's a good rescue. There is another tide in play. This magician is gonna try to body block here. Maybe take that mirror. He does take the mirror. Unfortunately, the psychologist is hit. This just BQ is really good with their hitbox.
Absolutely, this is a very skilled BQ. Does look like the team is not ready to give up just yet, though. They will be going in for that pallet play. Unfortunately, the magician does end up going down, but the dancer is also not ready to let up just yet. She will be. Oh, beautiful job from the dancer. Very intelligent, putting 2 music boxes to slow down the BQ's attack, really making it difficult for her to really be able to do anything. Does get the pellet stun. Absolutely
Oh,
beautiful from the survivors. Gets the Cypher pop. All survivors are up. 4-man endgame. Beautifully dropped from the Renee. Really, really good job managing to get that play out. Beautiful. Absolutely play of the century.
this is the stuff I want to see. Survivors, take notes. I want to see y'all bully the hunter. I want to see y'all fight life and death. I want y'all to force heal. I want it all. This is an exciting game. The survivors are in a great place. BQ does teleport. She does not get the hit on Magician, and Magician is able to cut away. But Dancer and Psychologist, unfortunately, were not skinny and got hit by the fucking train.
Oh no, this is looking really unfortunate for the Renee survivors. It looks like the Tramp does end up finally being the last hunter playing in the BQ's favor. This is quite the exciting match. We are seeing how the environment can definitely affect survivors. Not only have we seen 3 ciphers and how they can affect the endgame, but really we see the situation of what happened when survivors crowd around the gate. This is quite unfortunate for the survivors, almost getting that 3-man escape.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was a win right in the playbooks, but unfortunately, it did turn into a tie. Um, BQ is over here trying to get another survivor down. Unfortunately, I don't think this survivor will make it to chair before BQ. So this is really scary to see. Oh, they do! That is a safe rescue during detention, but unfortunately, I do think this is still a tie unless they are able to make a dungeon play here.
Ooh,
BQ
really
does hit the
unfortunate.
mercenary. Ooh.
Right, this is really unfortunate considering it is a BQ. She can cut off the magician pretty quickly. Unfortunately, the mercenary does end up getting hit. Oh, really, really bad. It's not looking good for the survivors. That magician is on second chair, and it does look like detention is about to be out though. If that mercenary can pop up, they can potentially get a tie out of this.
It does look like they
Oh,
have gate open and Mercenary is in gate. It's just gonna take this dancer. They unfortunately do not have any tied, so it is just gonna be a tie here, unfortunately. Ooh, the dancer does
ooh.
flywheel, but do you get hit here? Unfortunate.
This is really unfortunate. That tram really turned the game around. Looks like the mercenary already having that play ready for the gate exit. Those survivors getting really greedy with that rescue.
Yeah, as we've seen it here, the train is just a second hunter. The environment completely fucked up those survivors. This was a perfect 3-man, but because of that train, it just turned this into a complete tie right now.
Absolutely, this is quite the situation. Really playing into the hunter's favor. If the survivors do not stay patient, there will be consequences for them. It does look like the BQ does not notice the magician, but the magician already going in. Does not look like he sees the BQ. Ooh, it really is a battle of the mind games in this situation. Really, the BQ has the upper hand. All she has to do is really wait for her mirrors. The magician is put in a bad spot already. Yeah. Oh, beautiful dodge from the magician, but it does look like he will be going down.
Uh
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
the
unfortunately,
BQ.
this just seemed like a greedy match. These survivors were greedy for that win. That environment screwed them over. But honestly, I also wish they would have remembered where Dungeon was because they could have just done a Dungeon tie here. But as we've seen, Hilda is for some reason the gods are in Hilda's favor, turning this late game into Hilda's like prominent picture right here. Oh, it was such a good 3-man win, but dang, I was not expecting that train to run them over.
Absolutely, it does look like they will be only ending up with a 1 escape again. This BQ is a force to be reckoned with. Absolutely beautiful. Turning the tides in her favor. Very, very weak early game, but does end up turning it around last game.
Yeah, I don't. What sort of type of voodoo spells you casting on this stuff? I'm gonna need y'all to quit it. Cause like, Jesus, that should have been a 3-man! I'm honestly mad, and I wasn't even on the survivor side.
Right, this is quite the exciting match. Really, I never thought I would see so many plays all at once. Beautiful job was trying to get the psychologist up, and then the tram play. Truly, the second hunter, the real culprit, easily managing to get all survivors next to each other. Super dangerous. Absolutely, practically handed the survivors on a golden platter to the BQ.
Yeah, Train was just on the Hunter side that game. There's not much I can really say. Unfortunately, I wish the survivors didn't all crowd at one gate. Maybe they split off and decoded both gates at once. Maybe there was a dungeon call to get that tie. I do think they had a great game, but those survivors just got so greedy for that 3-man. They ended up making a lot of mistakes. If dungeon was called, they could have taken a tie. They could have taken a 3-man if they were smarter about that end game. Unfortunately, those survivors, I guess they just tired out at the end there and quit thinking logically.
Absolutely, it does look like the survivors may have had a brain fart, potentially a brain melt, potentially even a lolly play. What do we call him again? I forget the name of the little basement dweller that we have, but we shouldn't need to worry about too much. It does look like it has infected quite a few people, more than I had anticipated. I will be having a car go over to the unethical lab and go collect more antiviruses. Oh God.
Oh my god, last game was the most exciting match of the night. Oh, dude, I feel heartbroken for those survivors. I'm still heartbroken. Everything was laid out for them. Oh, I'm so upset about that match.
Absolutely. It was so intense, honestly. That was probably one of the most high blood pressure games I've ever seen. I am going to have to visit my doctor after this.
All right, let's get into these bands. Looks like we are going to view a classic seer and a classic priestess band. The map is Ever Sleeping. They are going to go ahead and try to get the Opera Singer out of here. Not a bad choice. Opera Singer, even though Ever Sleeping is a big open map, Opera Singer is still a force to be respected on this map. She's still a great hunter, still a strong chase hunter. They're going to go ahead and do Weeping Clown and Patient. Patient is a common pick. We've seen him before. Weeping Clown, I'm questioning a little bit, but who knows? Maybe they'll stun the hunter out of nowhere.
Absolutely. We will be seeing what the survivors choose to go in. We will be seeing a weeping clown, actually. Super excited for that. That's definitely a first play. We haven't seen that in the competition just yet, except from our wonderful Mind's Eye 5 Cypher Kai carrying all her teammates, obviously. That was quite the game. Absolutely, nothing in Koa could ever top that, or IVT, really. We will be seeing an E-Dater team, quite enticing.
Ooh, we are gonna go with a mercenary and a dancer band. I think the rescue here we are locked down to a gravekeeper or a first officer. I don't know if they'll choose either or of those, but I'm curious to see. Oh, we do see the gravekeeper pick, as I've mentioned. So that is feeling their team comp. They got a weeping clown, patient psychologist, and a gravekeeper. The bands. I'm really curious to see who the bands are. The bands are really great bands, but I'm really curious to see who this hunter will be.
Absolutely, these fans are definitely quite curious. Super excited to see how they will try to work with this. Patient is usually a very good character in Ever Sleeping, and then Weeping Clown is pretty decent at making all that distance. Super good at supporting his teammates too. And Gravekeeper, altogether, just in general, he's good at making distance for himself. Psychologist is overall really just the support of the team, being more of the backbone in terms of their healing. So we will be seeing how they choose to both carry themselves in terms of their build, and how the hunter will choose to react to this.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be a strong chase hunter because I know chase hunters are typically slow. The female dancer is a good band, and then the mercenary. It could be anybody else, but I'm thinking it might be a strong chase hunter, maybe a disciple or a strong tie hunter. But even still, there's still not enough information for me to really pick out who they're going yet.
Absolutely. It does look like this hunter is quite mysterious, really. Um, we will be seeing the survivors already ready, locking in their builds. Um, Super excited to see what kind of hunter will be played. Night Watch, super exciting, quite enticing. This, I believe, will be the first Night Watch of today that we see.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what this Night Watch is going to do. I know Night Watch with Insolence is on the prowl right now. A lot of people are doing it in comp. He's really unkiteable once he hits that Insolence. He's a really strong, fast downer. I now understand why he went with the Dancer and the Mercenary band. Dancer's boxes are really annoying for him, especially if he has to chase the Dancer or a support box. Mercenary is just able to elbow pad away from him, away from the windsuck to avoid getting stuff right before chair. So really good bans on the Night Watch.
Yeah, altogether, absolutely. I would say I do find it quite curious the Night Watch did not ban Antiquarian, as she tends to be quite a headache for really most hunters altogether. Looks like the survivors are looking around for what kind of spawns. They do seem to be communicating where they're going.
Wow, guys, these look like the spawn locations on my Brink randoms. Okay, there we go. Thank God they fixed them. But yeah, I'm really curious to see. Oh, we got Night Watch on Corner House. It's probably going to force Weeping Clown into Graveyard. I'm really curious to see if Weeping Clown will rock it as soon as they can to get that transition distance, or they might change targets. But really, I have a strong feeling they're probably going to stick to that Weeping Clown.
Absolutely, I do agree. Weeping Clown is pretty not exactly the worst, but not the best against Nightwatch, really. Stronger characters are really more Antiquarian who can stun him out of his ability and really cancel out that stack. Weeping Clown, on the other hand, relies a lot on his rocket, while Nightwatch can really kind of create and make that into a little bit of a headache, especially near the mid and end game when he has his dashes and his strong Tempest. But we will see how he decides to play this.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how they'll play it because I know Nightwatch is a really frustrating hunter to go against as a Weeping Clown. From what I've heard on a few S-Badge Weeping Clowns, a Nightwatch, if played correctly, can completely nullify a Weeping Clown, can suck you mid-rocket animation, can slow you down, and the dashes. So the rocket doesn't really offer a whole lot of distance as it would against normal hunters.
That's true, absolutely. It can definitely be quite difficult for the Weeping Clown, depending on the situation that he's in, especially considering with the Night Watch, you really need to be around those obstacles and be really careful when you're transitioning out. Depending on how the Weeping Clown plays, we will be seeing how well they can kite the Night Watch. It's super excited to see it.
I think the best route here would just start instantly running towards Graveyard and see if it could rocket to get transition distance into Graveyard and try to kite there as long as possible. Basement is Corner House. Ooh, the Night Watch is not going for the Weeping Clown.
It does look like the Night Watch will be going in for the Rescuer, wanting to get them out of the picture already, right away. However, the Rescuer is quite skilled, already dropping in that pellet, knowing exactly how they want to play Gravekeeper. They're already making that Night Watch really work for that kill. He does end up catching a glimpse of the Psychologist, though. We will be seeing how the Psychologist manages to play. Gets caught off guard. Beautifully done from the Night Watch.
Yeah, that was a really annoying red light trick, and I think Psychologist does get hit through here. She doesn't drop the pallet, takes a speed boost to start transitioning. But unfortunately, that was just a mix-up of people running into each other. The hunter instantly saw the Psychologist, that raw kiter, and they are just going for Psychologist. They want that presence. They want that 3-hit down.
Absolutely. This is looking like quite the exciting game. Ooh, barely missing those hits on the Psychologist. The hunter does look like they're quite trigger happy. The Psychologist may be potentially even getting through. Ooh, getting the tram. It does look like the Psychologist will be making it to the tram. Nightwatch takes the tram with her. This is going to waste a ton of time.
Yeah, as we can see, those ciphers are about to pop. We got 70, 90, 56. They are hot and ready to go like Little Caesar's Pizza.
Absolutely. This is looking absolutely this is looking like a really good game for the survivors. This Ada is doing an absolutely great job, phenomenal job of really catching this Night Watch off guard with her ability to kite. Absolutely phenomenal, really.
Yeah, she is able to get distance. Right here though, I think she will go down. I wish she would have stayed at that window more and kind of forced him to go the long way, but unfortunately she just ran away as quick as she could. But obviously it was still great kite. They're down to 2 ciphers. This is a great position to be in.
Absolutely, I do agree. We did see there that the E-Daters did try to do a little bit of tricks there, but it does look like the pallet was in the way, so we will be seeing the Rescuer going in, getting caught off early. Pretty dangerous for the survivors. REV got beautiful use of the hitbox for the Night Watch. They will be trying to get a hit on the Rescuer, but it does look like the Rescuer is not moving that up. Gets a hit on the Psychologist. Beautifully done. It does look like the Night Watch will be collecting full presence now. The Psychologist dying all the way in the corner of the map. Super,
Yes,
super,
psychologist is dying in the corner. Oh, this poor lady. She getting bullied with this wind sucking. But I so sad. These hunters do know their hitboxes, and they know them pretty well. These rescues are really hard when a hunter knows their hitboxes. The body blocking is almost non-existent to some of these top tier hunters.
Absolutely. We will be seeing the Weeping Clown going in, though. Ooh, that's a really, almost early hit. It does look like the Night Watch. Oh, absolutely well done. Almost gets that pallet stun, too. It looks like the Weeping Clown does have tight, though, which means the Psychologist has an extra 20 seconds to really solidify that tie. This hunter is in a really bad spot.
It looks like they were gonna try to buy as much time as possible with the Rocket Clown and the pallet being right there. The survivors are really trying to force this cipher pop. They do have down to one cipher. It's almost primed. I'm wondering if they're able to pop it. I think he's gonna go for a stun here and try to pop it. And they pop it.
Ooh.
Psychologist does go down here though, unfortunately, because of the wind suck. There's just not anywhere for her to run right there. But I'm glad these survivors were able to pop it. They started decoding the gates. But unfortunately, I do think the Night Watch will be able to get his eyes on someone else.
Absolutely. It does look like the patient won't be. Does end up getting the flywheel. Beautifully done from the patient. Oh, unfortunately, he doesn't make it over the pallet, but he does end up. Nightwatch does unfortunately miss. It does look like the patient will be going down here, but the other gate is already being decoded as we speak. The current gate being 50%, well, it does look like the Weeping Clown will be able to possibly make it into that gate.
Yeah, these survivors played it really well, but unfortunately they were not able to greed for that 3-man, but they will be able to get a tie, which honestly, at this level of play, a tie is as good as a win.
Absolutely. It does look like the wind will be going towards the Reverie survivors once more. Beautifully done from the survivors and the hunters from the Reverie side. Beautifully done. Overall, just an amazing play. There were so many things going on with the tram hit, the 3 ciphers, the BQ games just all together were all over the place. Super interesting, super, overall just phenomenal, really.
Yeah, both teams played great. The survivors on both teams were both pretty stacked. They were pretty fun to watch. Unfortunately, that BQ game was just a mishap of the train being the second hunter.
Absolutely. That was so exciting. That was quite the intricate match. I was honestly quite invested in it. And that's probably one of the most interesting matches we have seen in a long time, where there were so many factors that really played into things, where the survivors look to have the upper hand, but really just a misstep on their side, and it looks like the hunter does end up taking the win.
Yeah, but both teams played great. Honestly, it wasn't a boring night. These matches were fun to watch and fun to commentate.
Absolutely. Super exciting. I really enjoyed it. I do believe, as of currently, it does look like Reverie will be securing the win against Renee.
Uh-oh. We will be seeing a future rivalry brew here, guys.
It looks like it will be Renee's first loss against their bracket. This is super exciting. Really, really excited to see how the Reverie team does plan to bring back their game.
Yeah, really curious to see how these teams will progress. As you see, both survivors on both sides are honestly pretty stacked. I do think, though, in that one BQ match, I do think that the survivors did get a little too greedy. If they played patiently and I think made a few smarter choices, they totally could have 3-man that game.
Absolutely. That was honestly amazing. I do find it quite like interesting, right? That things turned around so quickly. It was so fascinating. That game, honestly, probably one of the best ones we've seen in a good minute. Overall, it just really shows how the endgame can really turn things around in seconds, especially with the hunter with such a strong trade near the endgame as BQ, with her mirror even having detention. On top of that, just overall how the hunter played and still managed to stay calm in such a stressful situation against the survivors, who really managed to control the game for the most part, learning from their mistakes, preventing the 3 cipher, but ultimately getting beat by the tram.
Yeah, all these matches were just phenomenal, honestly. They were fun to watch. It's just that There were some of them were so neck and neck, you had no clue who was gonna win. But yeah, like I said, there's just a big difference between early and mid game. You could have a bad early game and a great late game, or a bad late game and have a great early game. Never know with these matches.
Absolutely. This is really a great show of how things can turn around really super, super quickly. It's really fascinating. Honestly, great job from both teams, bringing us quite the play of the century. Overall, it was fascinating how the BQ managed to pull off a win in both scenarios, despite having a very, very poor early game.
Yeah, I'm just oh man, that BQ match as a survivor main myself, that just I was so sad.
It was quite the interesting matches. Definitely worthwhile. Oh my god, quite the joy to commentate. Very, very, just overall, really, in terms overwhelming, really, in a good way, where it had me hooked all the way to the end, really keeping you on your toes, wondering what will happen next. How will the hunter pull the rug out of the survivors' hands, and how the survivors will really try to play on it.
Yeah, but I think that was our last game, wasn't it?
I do believe that will be our last game. It does look like the Reverie survivors have, or the Reverie team has won 2 games in a row, which means they will probably be securing the win against Renee.
All right, and Lozzie wants to rub it in the wound.
It does look like the basement dweller has left. He had no hope for his team, but all of a sudden they did pull the rug back. Quite the enticing game, after all.
If you are a lover and would love to donate to the Lolly Victim GoFundMe, feel free to
Oh,
donate. We help Lolly victims all over the place who have
I am a
trauma, therapy, and other related issues to Lolzy.
I am a victim. I do have to constantly deal with him breaking out of his cage and then trying to shove his British ideals into my head, trying to change my accent. It is quite traumatizing, quite scary. Hear it now, before you, ladies and gentlemen, the British man in all his dangerous glory, all of his quite dastardly danger, trying to turn us into British. Quite dangerous. I will not be telling people to empty the compartments of their pantaloons. Not today. Not ever. Who let you speak? Alright, I will be having to go lock this man in his basement once more. He keeps escaping. I need to get a new lock. I'm going to fire my locksmith and sue him for the therapy bill that I am going to need in the future. This has been 709. I have been your commentator. A joy to have had you guys here with me to watch these wonderful matchups. I am joined by Josh, my co-commentator. Great job today. Super, super fun getting to commentate with you. Thank you so much for joining me.
This is Josh signing out. It's been fun. I've had fun commentating with my favorite grandma, 709, and our favorite little rat king, Lolzy, over here. Now, on my way to see what hits empty first. My